Prologue. Premonition. I adore these backgrounds already. They're mostly atmospheric, but they really add a lot. This is a game about rage. Great, I'm always angry. So, does anyone remember the Vampire the Masquerade character creation system where you could either add the dots into the character sheet or just answer a bunch of questions? This is a way easier way of deciding where you're going to go with your character. Fuck the consequences is exactly what I'm doing. I'm a warrior. I am brave, clearly. The woods are full of stars. They flicker, come closer, run away. They want me to chase them, to play hide and seek. I hunt. That's me. I am double brave, inspiring, analytical. I'm not sure how these stats are going to turn out, but we can already see we've got willpower, health, rage, and I'm full on rage. They dance around the tree trunks, float up on the gusts of wind that shiver through the branches, disappear among the leaves. I let out a howl, eager to run with them. I want everyone to know I'm there. Then they bunch up and fly towards me like an arrow rushing down. They're soon upon me, but just before the spear of light pierces my breast, they disappear, and the darkness of the night returns. High rage! In the darkness, I feel the tangled roots of stories keeping the forest alive, and I finally catch the scent of the enemy. I jump forward, and then I wake up! Bum bum ba! Werewolf dreams. They're always about hunting. They're always about, I don't know, how many rabbits? Imaginary rabbits. Confused, I open my eyes. The forest around me is thick, dark, and reeks of decay, to such an extent that it's hard to breathe. Oh damn, I guess... why am I here? Am I in the forest naked? Is this my first time turning into a werewolf? Should have got those spandex, stretchy clothes for when I turn into a giant rage monster. My head is spinning. Why am I here? I just woke up. The tree trunks wrapped tightly in dark-leaved ivy, even covered in ripples of lichen, where the vines haven't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their base are overrun with nettles. The fungi radiate with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms cling to the fallen trees. I'm so cold! I'm gonna go with something's wrong. I mean, which includes the being cold. I look down and see my hands covered in a dark substance. I'm naked, sticky, glistening film of liquids clinging to my skin. I can feel it on my face, in my hair, blood. Oh, good. As long as it's not any other bodily fluid, I think one's less worrying. I shout at the forest. I'm going to use that bravery I've got. Yep, there we go. Gonna see if I can get in the first 10 minutes up to, what's that? 10 brave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 10 brave. There's a severed head right in front of me. I punch it? Why is there a fist? I think I'm gonna poke it with a stick. You find a dead body in the forest. This is some... Oh, there's a nipple. A dead body. And that's me right there going, haha, this is my head now. Some choices are hard to make. They strain your willpower. Oh, and I lost a point of willpower? I can't remember what I started on. I like this. I always like it when a text game like this shows you the stats that it's tracking, so you can make choices. Like, what's that swipe left, swipe right one? I really enjoyed that. Yes. Yeah, there's yes, your grace, which is different. The face is contorted. The eyes bulging, the mouth open as though the head were still struggling for air. I pick it up without even thinking, high on adrenaline, and then eyes open in the darkness. Is that the head? The enemy! Oh, come on, immediately jumping to conclusions that it's an enemy should get me some points in bravery there. Or maybe that's points in stupidity, I don't know. I can see their silhouettes, shades of jet black against the darkness. They reek of metal and acid and oil and money. Massive creatures, some with mandibles, some with spidery legs. Their faceted eyes burn like small industrial furnaces. I look at them, and something wakes inside my chest. Wait! Rage! That's the good stuff. Yes! For bravery! There we go. I throw my head in the direction of the shining eyes and launch myself into the air. My whole body sings with the rush of adrenaline. I descend and sink my teeth into the neck of a monster that was stupid enough to stand in my way. In a moment of clarity, I almost understand what the forest wants from me. And then I woke up. Oh, damn. This is Inception-ing me. So far, Dreamland's pretty cool. Oh, and now we get into the characters. Maya, wake up! I jerk upright, irritated. My neck was stiff and the movement sent a sudden sharp wave of discomfort through my body. I wasn't in the forest anymore. I was sat on a bus. The sun streaming through the windows, making it hard to see. The girl next to me was touching my shoulder, disturbed. What happened? Oh, wait. My bars are cut. I think I had 5 health and 5 willpower and 5 rage. Maybe it's because I'm in human form and not a dream werewolf? I don't know. I don't have any... Let's be kind to our friend and see if that spends a point of willpower. It does. We're out. We are out of willpower. What happened? Overcoming the urge to push her away was hard. She looked at me concerned. Oh, I'm gonna Hulk out and rage now. I've got no willpower. You were singing, I guess, in your sleep? I blinked. The memory of the dream was still there, and the overwhelming smell of the old forest. I was glad I wasn't alone. Thank you for coming with me, I said. The girl next to me smiled. I think we're almost there. Her name was Anya. We met a couple of weeks earlier on the orientation day. She was from Norway. A tall, broad-shouldered, calm person who wore her long hair in a braid. Somehow I'd managed to talk her into this crazy field trip across the land of my ancestors. Anya is sympathetic. She seemed excited. Okay. I'm going to take the special option there. Can I scroll back as well? Oh, I can! Oh my god, that's so much easier! Oh god, I like that. That's just a quality of life thing I like. Because it usually shows you in boxes and then you have to scroll back, go back through each individual box, and that's annoying. Especially in the anime ones. Anya reached into her backpack and took out 2 apples? Okay, that's overlapping. I'm really happy we decided to come here, she said. Yeah, I offering some of my kamenosi, dried meaty sausages that were so much better than the original Polish ones back in the US. Kamenosi, do you want some of my meaty sausage? I was glad Anya decided to come with me. I had problems keeping friends around and really needed one. I did some searching, she said from over her phone, and this place is amazing. The last primordial forest in Europe. Where are we? Are we in Poland? I'm assuming that's the implication with the sausage. The sausage implications are getting deeper. Our summer language course was starting a few weeks, and I managed to talk Anya into skipping the tours of concentration camps and old churches and visiting Bialowieza National Park with me instead. I've probably butchered that name. Bialowieza? Bialowieza. With me instead. So far, it's beautiful, she said, her eyes smiling. But why are we here again? Oh. Why don't you tell me, video game? Why were we there? There being Bialowieza, a small village in northeast Poland near the border with Belarus. It was famous for its national park, the very last European bison, and, according to a quick web search, occasional tensions between far-right troublemakers and the local Belarusian community. The most honest answer would have been, because I've been dreaming about the forest in Bialowieza since I can remember. But people didn't understand when I said things like that. I looked her in the eye. Oh, so does this character know they're a werewolf? I feel like, no, I can't tell her everything because I have no willpower. That's gonna kick me in the ass later. I kept it simple so I wouldn't freak her out. I told her, let's tell her as much as I can. I wanted to see the forest. I heard it was a must. That wasn't technically a lie. When I was little, my grandfather told me stories about an ancient forest full of wonders and the wolves that lived in it. It was all I got from that part of the family before my mum took me, ran away, and cut off all contact with my dad. But I remember the stories well, and I remember the name of the forest. Bialowieza. This will always be our home, my grandfather used to say. Oh my god! She doesn't know her half of the family are werewolves. That's so cool. See, I am not one who knows a whole bunch about the werewolf lore and how they work. I've not managed to play much werewolf, but this is cool, kind of easing me into it. And I don't even know what clan. Not clan, sorry, that's vampire. What, is it clan? I don't know, werewolf group. Damn it, I need to go read the rulebook again. What is it in, is it gonna be the Silver Fangs? Is it gonna be the Red Furies? Oh god, I can't remember. Anyway, Children of Gaia? Maybe, who knows? Anya joined you. Okay, because I was nice to her, she joined me. And she's probably going to die now because she's going into a forest with me with rage monsters. Okay, that damn forest, my weird-ass family. I had to learn the truth about my roots. Yeah, let's learn about our roots because goal, learn your family history. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. You could choose your own goal. I wonder how that affects the story. Because obviously it's not always easy for these to be like massive branching paths, and obviously there will be different routes. I don't know about different endings, but I always enjoy that in a story. I think the game to beat for me is what's it called? I think the game to beat for me is... what? I literally just looked at the name, Long Live the Queen. I think the game to beat for me is Long Live the Queen, because I loved that. Lots of quick, brutal deaths and horrible things, but you could also like level up your character in interesting ways. That was fun. So, my grandfather's stories, the secrets, my mother running away, there was a mystery in my past. It was time I uncovered the truth about who I was, but now I wasn't so sure if it'd been a good idea. Ooh. Your willpower dropped to 0. When you lose all your health or willpower, you become impaired. This will make physical tasks, if you have 0, or social and mental tasks, if you have 0, harder and sometimes impossible. Well, my character's brain just melted out her ear. Bialowieza looked like an overexposed photo of a village with the contrast turned all the way up. The sun wasn't just shining, it was shouting at the earth and everything. The trees, the grass, the wooden house, the fences seemed weathered. everything except the shadows. They were sharp, as though they were freshly printed within the darkest of inks. And they moved. Uh-oh. I need to check my fucking emails to see how much I can show you. Ooblets, Stitch of Fate, Apocalypse, there we go. For a second, I could have sworn they'd moved, but then I realized it was just a black cat walking down the sidewalk. When it saw me, it stopped in its tracks. I tried to pet it. Can you pet the dog? Can you pet the cat? Very important. In a flash, it swatted my hand away with its paws, drawing a few drops of blood. Am I going to lose health points over this? Hey, Maya, anyone said... Hey Maya, Anya said, looking at me. Didn't you say your friends would be waiting for us? But he wasn't there, and the cat was still staring at me. Let's go. Anya put on her backpack. I'm tired, and I really need to find a toilet. 0 willpower. I didn't know what to do. I was too tired and distracted to think clearly. My friend was nowhere in sight. I stormed off. Let's go with the rage! It's also nice that it tells you what stats are giving you what consequences, so you can play through again and see if you can do it differently. Easier. That's kind of nice. I grabbed my backpack and started walking. I hate when people are late, I muttered under my breath. I was walking fast and it took a while for Anya to catch up with me. Bed and breakfast. Bialowieza had a few hotels and hostels. But the preferred form of accommodation was bed and breakfasts. I love bed and breakfasts. They're so good. Staying in someone's house, getting a fry up, at least in England. I found one that was nice, clean, and that had good reviews. We had a room on the second floor with a huge window and a great view of the forest. We dropped off our stuff and freshened up a bit. Maybe we should have waited for your friend, Anya asked, concerned. I shrugged. I'll find him later, sooner or later. I'll find him sooner or later when he's been eaten. Before you go, check your character sheet. Look for it in the upper right corner of your screen. You can find a load of useful stuff about Maya, her background, personality, goals, and so on. You can also check who your friends are and who your enemies are. Bialowieza was a quaint tourist town. Okay, what do we got? Oh, condition impaired willpower. Yeah, okay. Oh, and that's, hang on, just to show you how this works, so I get my head out of the way. The goal is how you get your willpower back. So it's actually kind of a lot like the role-playing game. You fulfill traits of yours or ambitions of yours, and that's how you regain stats or spendable stats. We've got complicated family history, and Anya is sympathetic towards us, which is nice. But I had other things in mind. The lay of the land. Oh, and we get to go to different places? I like that. I had a clear goal in mind. My family was entangled with this town and the forest. I had to uncover my roots. Anya went with me. Let's go to the forest. I literally cannot wait. I'm only allowed to show you like 10 minutes of footage from this game because the demo will be available for everyone to play and the developers want everyone to be able to experience it for themselves. But I want to catch some werewolf action, so I'm going to be editing this. There's eyes in the forest. Daniel looked at Anya and me over his shoulder. How do you like her? Who's Daniel? We'd met maybe 20 minutes earlier. Oh, is that the friend I dodged? I wasn't sure. Anya had Googled local guides and he was apparently the best person to go to if you wanted to see the forest. So I found him and now here we were. He was a strange one. Oh, what did I do? Something happened. Daniel is neutral towards me. Okay. His skin was weather-beaten and bronzed by the sun, like tanned leather, and he moved in a very deliberate way. But his fingers were slim and delicate, and his eyes were the strangest shade of yellow-green. So, how did you like her? I wasn't sure who he meant. Do you mean the forest? I asked. Polish was a strange language that gave the most unexpected genders to objects and ideas. I meant Puszka. The word sounded like the wind rustling in the leaves. Puszka. Puszcha. Puszcha. Okay. Puszcha is the right word, not forest. Forests are like fields or orchards, cultivated. He spat as he said it. And Puszcha, she is older than even the concept of fields. He was using the word as though it was a name. I looked at the Puszcha again. I looked around with fresh eyes, brave. I felt as though I'd entered an ancient battleground. Gigantic trees were locked in a century-long war for a place in the sun, as the trunks of fallen foes decomposed slowly at their feet. Young plants and colourful mushrooms were fighting their own battles over the rotting remains. The trees that still lived stretched towards the sky like the columns holding up a vaulted canopy, which blocked out all but a few rays of sunlight. Something moved in the leaves. I fought the urge to chase it. I loved what I saw. There should be more places like this, I said earnestly. Or more of this place. Daniel lifted his head, looked me right in the eyes. Yes, you're right. He said with a serious expression. Then I remembered why I was there. Perhaps he knew my family. You're a local. Maybe you heard of my family, I asked. I'm not from here, but my family was. And I think some secret connects me to this place. I dream about the forest a lot. Daniel stopped abruptly and turned to me, watching me for a while. His nostrils flared as though he were tasting the air. Yes, I think our families might have known each other many winters past. Puszcha still remembers. Come on. He started walking. I know exactly what you need to see. Hey, I got my willpower back. Oh, thank goodness, I'm not impaired anymore. Goal progression, yes! Finally. So I was right. There was something hidden in my family's past, and it seemed to have a lot to do with the forest. With every step, I was getting closer to solving the mystery, so I followed him. Ooh! Oh, come on. I really, really want to do some magic tourist trap, old stories. Now, we're going to do... We have to choose a path. There's the old wolf den, or I could show you the barrows first, or a clearing that some folk called a place of power. I'm gonna go families, because I want more willpower. And maybe I'll turn into a werewolf. We started walking, but after a few steps he stopped abruptly, like he's remembered something. Then he turned to me. Could you humour me, please? Sure. Yeah, man, sure, what do you need? He ran his hand through the moss on a dead tree trunk, smelled his fingers, and then reached into his pocket. He took out a small stone. Something personal? Inspiring. Ooh, what am I? I'm getting inspiring dots. I haven't got any spiritual or cunning yet. I don't know why. The game tracks your decisions on how Maya approaches problems. They will accumulate and gradually reveal what kind of a person she is. Deep in her heart. In the forest! Oh my god, it's the video game name! The story changes to reflect Maya's personality. I would like you to take this stone. He held out his open hand towards me, and throw it in the direction you think we should go. I humoured him. Okay. I took the stone, closed it in my hand, Be careful, whispered Anya. It was just a stone. Cold and rugged, it felt just like any other stone. I closed my eyes and thought about the wolf den, trying to imagine the place. Probably a hole in the ground, long forgotten and dead, like most of the forest. I threw the stone with high rage. Several people died. I felt my hand I felt my hand rising entirely on its own and then throwing the stone as far as I could. It was a good throw. The stone flew in a long arc over the bushes and disappeared without a trace in the dense undergrowth. Great. I was asking for that. It wasn't I? Why? What was that for? To introduce you, he answered with a faint smile before he turned to head deeper into the forest. Pushka is sympathetic? The forest has its own character? Oh, that's brilliant. The forest thought that was funny that I tossed someone's stone away. The first thing I noticed when we stopped was a pine tree. Oh, hang on! That's a picture of a wolf with trees growing out of it. I like that. A pine tree I knew. I remembered it. Small, twisted, crooked, and immensely powerful. Every bend of every branch had a story to tell. It's majestic, I thought, suddenly. Months before that, when I decided to come to Poland, I dreamed of that tree. I was sure of it, just like I was sure that under its roots I'd find a burrow and a few feet away, another one, like two dark eyes, gazing at me as I approached. Daniel passed me and approached the tree. He pressed his cheek against the tree. Hello? He said quietly. Was there someone else? Hello, I repeated, just in case, but it seemed like we were the only people there. This is the den, announced Daniel. It's abandoned, of course, but still worth seeing. Why is it abandoned? What happened? Humans happened. He sat under the tree, leaned his back against it. It was a hot spring morning. Idiot. It's not a hot spring, there's no water here. It was a hot morning in spring when they found this den. No one knows who the men were, even though it was only one human generation ago. There were 6 cubs here under the roots of this tree. He'd stopped stuttering and seemed to enjoy telling the story. I felt weird. I felt slightly anxious listening to him, like I was on the brink of remembering something I wasn't aware I knew. I don't think they wanted to hurt the wolves. They probably thought this would be abandoned. That's why they took the cubs with them. Humans have the instinct that makes you try to befriend everything, especially if it's dangerous. Not befriend. Enslave. You mean enslave, I answered sharply, pulling something from the world and forcing it to work for us. I hated it, but it was how it seemed to be. I'm not saying it always works out, but the intention is good, and I believe the men who kidnapped the wolves wanted to do something kind, he continued. Anyway, they took them, one of the 6. 2 lived to see the cold summer that year. The wolf mother used to come to the farm and they were at and howl. People went grey if they heard her. I knew that howl. And suddenly I heard that howl. I knew exactly how it sounded, and I felt despair and longing gnawing at my soul. I remembered how the cubs had reacted. They threw themselves at the door. Rage! I'm following the rage here. Oh, we're at half bravery! We threw ourselves at the door, biting, trying to break free to escape. Maya, are you okay? Anya asked, putting her hand on my shoulder. I liked how he told the story. You're such a good storyteller, I said, trying to brush it off. For a moment there, I felt like I was one of them. Thank you, Daniel said, looking at the tree and the burrow. The cubs that survived were sold to some people in Hajnoka. But after a while, both of them ended back in Bialowieza with the scientists. They had a station in the national park. One of the wolves, Kazan, was a celebrity of sorts. If you saw any wolf photos from here, they were probably of Kazan. He was even on postcards. I hope he'd eaten someone. Yep, that's me. Preferably in the neck. Daniel looked at me scornfully. The scientists never hurt him. Nobody wanted to hurt him. Even the men who took the cubs. There was a slight gust of wind and the trees creaked. I remembered that sound from my dreams as well. A sound that made me feel safe. How often had he shared that story? Do you bring people here often? If I think they'll understand, I do. He looked at the burrows for a long time. This place is my friend, so I try to keep it important and respected. I think it's my mission, you know? This guy was super weird. Okay. Goodbye, he said to the tree like a weirdo. Yup. Daniel's super odd. I also said my goodbyes, because I am weird too. And angry, and we left. The forest was alive around us, vigilant, but not alarmed by our presence. Oh man, tell you one thing, reading a lot really takes it out of you, so I'm going to take a quick sip of water. There we are. Where I wanna see magic stuff. Yeah, place of power. That's the Tremere in me. A buzzing in my ears. It started with the hair on the backs of my hands rising. The air around me seemed brighter, lighter. I don't know how I'm gonna be spending this rage, but I'm just constantly angry. The leaves in the trees' trunks turned yellow and my skin started to prickle. I realized that I couldn't hear anything except for a low buzzing that was filling my ears. I was hot, my bones were vibrating, full of an energy I couldn't understand. I had to do something, snap out of it. I lashed out on the nearest tree trunk with my rage. Fight the tree, fight the tree. I kicked the nearest. Look out, Anya screamed. There was a loud cloud of dust and rot and the buzzing grew louder. I felt a sting and then another and another. I started to run. Did I punch a tree that had bees in it? How do you fight a hive? You don't. You just hope you can outrun it. So I ran and I hoped. And there was an opening and light, real light, not the yellow buzzing. I got stung. I got stung by the fire. Yeah, that was stupid. The clearing was a plateau between huge boulders. There were double-trunked trees between the rocks and an angular wooden construction that stuck out of the ground like a sore thumb. There was a bike leaning on it, but more importantly, there was a man, and he was moving in the most beautiful, harmonious way I'd ever seen. It was hypnotizing and slightly coffee. Sorry for being gross. Brave! Oh, I got lots of brave. I couldn't stop looking at the way he moved, the way his muscles danced under his tanned skin. This man knew his body. He knew how to use it. It was his tool. I'd love to see his tool, his weapon. The wasps that were flying after me stopped in midair, forming a ball. The man slowly moved his hands forward, like he was gently pushing them away. The hive turned around and left the clearing. The words came out of my mouth seemingly without knowing. What was wrong with this place? Yeah, what's up here, dude? We've got 3 wolf moon here. We've got the 3 wolves in this picture, but is he the moon? I don't know. What's wrong with this place? What's wrong with this place? I shouted, frustrated. He stopped and looked at me. It's in pain, he said calmly. He stretched his hand towards me. I'm Colonel. Hello, Colonel. I'm the lieutenant. He said, a hard German accent. I'm Colonel. Shouldn't you be on the logging site? Daniel asked him after I introduced myself. I need to center myself, he answered. The others are still there. Don't worry. I'm sorry, Germans. Center himself. That's weird. How could you come here to center yourself, I asked, remembering the buzzing, restless energy from moments before. This place is special. Oh, sorry, this place is special, Daniel said. Some people call it a place of power, as I told you. And they have good reason to. Look around you. Fruit trees! I don't really want to spend my rage. I'm enjoying having lots of it. The boulders were weird. These rocks, someone brought them here, right? I asked, looking at the boulders, which, upon closer inspection, formed a circle. The stones were irregular and nestled deep in the ground. People believed this was a place of worship thousands of years ago. Hence the fruit trees, the stone circle, and now the tower. And indeed, there's a lot of energy in this place. You feel it, don't you? Yes, I do. The pushka is wounded and in pain. It calls out in rage to anyone who can hear it. Here this call is louder. You see the logging, his eyes darkened, his slaughter, and you gasp quietly. High rage! Why doesn't anyone sabotage it? Fight, 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 fight. I clenched my fists, and I turned into a werewolf. Come on, I really, really want that moment, you know? Someone should sabotage the whole thing. You can't log without tools, and buying new tools will get unprofitable at some point. You have a connection with this forest, don't you? I became suspicious. I punched him! No, I didn't punch him. The guy was acting a little like he wanted to draw me into a cult. Yeah, we'll see about that. I didn't take you for the indifferent type. Guess I was wrong. He jumped suddenly and looked at the wooden tower and the bike I'd noticed earlier. Die Schwalbe is getting restless. And, as Daniel pointed out, I should be on the logging site setting up the protest. Schwalbe? Yeah, I don't know that. Oh, Swallow. That's his bike's name. Oh, I do. Nice meeting you, Maya. All I wanted to do was get out of here and turn into a werewolf. Hopefully, after we go to the Barrows, which is the third and final place of ancient graves, we can see like how we're going to be. What the central conflict of this game is. Is it the logging? I don't know. We'll see. The trail soon disappeared. Sometimes we walked along a barely visible path made by some animals. Sometimes we followed a stream or a gully, but for most of our trek, we walked through a dense undergrowth. High rage. I was keenly aware that without Daniel, I'd been totally and utterly lost. And I didn't feel good about that realization. The sun was barely noticeable through the dense canopy, and I had no idea which direction we were going anyway. It was a pleasant walk. Despite my reservations. Oh, Pushka is friendly to me. Wait, who we got? Pushka is friendly, Cornel is cautious, Daniel is neutral, and Anya is still sympathetic. It was a pleasant walk. There was always a path through the brambles. The ground was even, and the branches stayed out of our way. I almost felt like the forest wanted us to find the way. I stubbornly pushed on. Let's do some Daniel stuff. I watched the efficient and deliberate way Daniel moved, and I tried to guess his background. Why had he become a guide? I tried to guess his background. Are you werewolf or are you kinfolk? Are you military? There was something dangerous in the way he moved. Yes, I used to fight. He said nothing more. Then it hit me. Oh, spend that willpower, baby. Suddenly it all came together and I realized what was so unusual about him. The way he moved. It was so natural, so effortless. No one who'd spent their childhood sitting all day at school in front of a screen could move that way. Were you raised by wolves? Mowgli over here, showing us around the forest. He looked me straight in the eyes, his irises and mesmerizing yellow-green. Yes, I was, he said with a poker face. Oh my god! Is that lupus? So I think there's like 3 different ways you can be born into being a werewolf. You can be raised as a wolf, you can be raised as a human, and you can be raised as a combination between the two. Fuck, we were lost. Was it the barrows? No, let's go with a pretty chill way of doing this. Are we there yet? He froze for a second as though he'd forgotten I was there. They're tricky to find sometimes. Be quiet for a minute, please. Ash in my mouth, the smell of smoke and wet spar, and a pull. I hushed him. Follow the rage. No, you shut up, I said, focused and tense. He tilted his head, puzzled. He didn't answer, instead watching me in silence. I showed him the right direction. I'm becoming in tune with the forest. That's so cool. I pointed to my left under a dying tree. You don't know the way. I ignored him and started walking. I know the way. I certainly do. I don't care whether it's going to the burrows or not. Under the crooked tree, past the dead tree trunk and the sponge-like mushrooms, across the patch of wet, dark green moss, blah, 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 blah. We found our way. You noticed the elevations. There was something about the flattened hills that drew my full attention. It must have been bigger than the past. I'm out of willpower, so I can't do anything smart. Not at the moment. Feeding all the new life that was growing from them. The trees around us were the fingers of the dead sticking out the ground, and then it happened. It was a feeling anchored in my chest, akin to the taste of ash and smoke, longing, sadness, resignation, but there was more. A sense of sacredness. It filled me with a calm excitement. When I closed my eyes, I saw a fire burning in the darkness. Oh shit. The village was burning and dead bodies were scattered among the flaming buildings. My hands were dripping with blood. The dying crawled towards me, some in ancient Roman armor, some in rags, some in uniforms from world wars, some in modern camo. Why? Why do you keep killing us? So the forest could live! Oh damn! This is like ancestral memories or something? I love it. You were somewhere else, he said. You said you had family here? Yeah. I had to find my father's family came here. I don't know much about them though, he sighed. I don't think you should be here. You're not ready. He knew something. Tell me. Give me my willpower back. What do you know? I wasn't letting go. About you, not much, but I know about the Pushka. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Pushcha. Is it Pushcha? I think so. The Pushka calls to you. It's wise to listen. But it's not wise to get lost in the voices. Come. I was lost in my thoughts. The voices in the vision knew what I had to do. It's almost as though it was expected of me. Was this what my family did here? I need to know about my family. It's the vision. I accepted that thought. Was the vision showing me what my ancestors did here? Yep, that's absolutely it. I accept that. I get my willpower back. We've progressed our goal, and we're not impaired anymore. Just in case. The walk back was uneventful. I might have pissed off Daniel though. No, he's still neutral to me. The walk back was uneventful. Cool. Where do we go next? Let's go back to town. The B&B was quaint. When we got back, we were both drained. We soon curled up in our beds. What a day! So what do you think? Made a quick mental inventory of everything that had happened. Daniel was weird. The story of the wolves, vision of the barrows. They were cutting down the trees and I didn't like it. Yeah, let's go with that one. Can't believe they're logging here. Isn't the forest on a UNESCO list or something? Soon we were both asleep. I was tired, sure, but also excited. And excitement isn't the best for sleep. I lay there for a while, thinking about everything that had happened that might happen next. I drifted off. A night in the woods. In a big city, Old men sit in leather chairs, lazily enjoying their ever-growing wealth. They watched Bialowieza on flickering screens. They watched me. I am a weapon! I'm a sword, I'm a gun, and I can't wait. I feel a pull, and I surrender to it. I am pointed towards a clearing. There are piles of corpses of people who died too young, skinned, mutilated. Their loved ones stand around them grieving, unable to do anything. And suddenly they're just trees and tree trunks. I howl. Aroo! Look at the moon, and I sing their story. There is a stench in the air like meat rotting in acid, but somehow worse. I say the monstrous army, the mandibles are whirring chainsaws, the long metal arms are wrapped. I charge. I'm charging. I'm gonna do like full fighty character. I'm looking forward to this. They tell me to look at the sky. There, between the stars, two shapes circle each other. An old sad wolf with grey hair and a white weasel. They keep their eyes on one another as they continue their dance. Suspicious, but not hostile. We need to fight. Brave, I challenge them, I jumped, but how can we do that when we don't trust each other? They stop, look at me, I challenge them! Come here and face me once again. I recognize the words, but I understand. I don't recognize the words, but I understand. They've been waiting for you for a long time. I wake up. Oh, come on! It's the end. This is the end of the demo. Is this it? Yes! Oh, I love that. That's so cool. The Maya you played was a warrior, born under the full moon. Oh, undoubtedly. There's so many fighty options. I could also see some ways of being a bit more spiritual, ways of being a bit more analytical or careful or intelligent about things, that's for sure. And I never went less than 3 rage, so I am 100% down to play this in different ways, so that's really cool. So what's going to be happening is this will be the full version that you Patreon folks will see, and I'm going to edit out all of this playthrough basically, and then what I'll do now is go through and do the my analysis bits for to append the 10 minutes that I'm technically allowed to show or have been asked to show by the devs for everyone else.